Well, I'm excited. Folks, Groundhog Day is near. And just in case you don't already have your sparklers and your meatloaf ingredients, don't worry. If you are listening to this show early in the week, you have at least 3 more days to get those decorations up and send out your cards. Who knows what the groundhog will tell us this year? 6 more weeks of winter? Early spring? The real meaning of the ending of Inception? An explanation for why we always seem to wake up before the alarm clock goes off? Your guess is as good as my iguanas. Folks, Groundhog Day is my favorite time of year. It's the hip, modern holiday with some science and a dash of German mysticism. But when you show up to work this Friday in your traditional bathrobe and Doc Martens, don't let snickers and stares shake your faith in our beloved marmot. Those naysayers are the same close-minded shitheads who just 2 months ago drug a live tree into their house and hung breakable glass balls from it and then freaked out when their pets and kids knocked one down. Yeah, a giant live tree. And then they put presents wrapped in paper made from dead trees under it. Seriously, how many pairs of socks do you need? And who cares if Poxitani Phil's weather prediction has been correct only 39% of the 130 times he has been called upon? I mean, green bean casserole disappoints us 100% of the time. Seriously, who eats that crap? So what's so great about Groundhog Day, and groundhogs in general? Well, groundhogs are hypoallergenic. Also, there's the Groundhog Day movie. And the Groundhog Day movie drinking game, where you do a shot every time Bill Murray is on the screen. By the way, groundhogs only whistle when they are frightened, so don't let that happen. I've received some feedback that my episode titles can be a bit misleading, so just for those of you who were drawn in by the Groundhog Day meatloaf recipe, use 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef, 3/4 of a cup of oatmeal, 3/4 of a cup of finely chopped onion, half a cup of ketchup, 1 egg lightly beaten, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 cloves of garlic minced, half a tablespoon of salt, and 1/4 tablespoon of black pepper. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Combine all the ingredients in a large bowl and mix lightly with your hands. Really grind it in there. Get it under the fingernails a little. Plop that blob on a lightly greased cookie sheet and throw that shit in the oven for 50 to 60 minutes. This recipe will have your family go from saying, "Aw, meatloaf," to, "Aw, meatloaf." Now for some listener letters. To have your question read on the show, write to pleaseexcusemydeadauntsally at gmail.com. Our first question comes from Jean in Wilmington, North Carolina. Jean writes, "Hey Mike, what happens if the groundhog sees someone else's shadow?" Well, Jean, that could only mean that we're getting 6 more seasons of Stranger Things. Bob in Syracuse, New York writes, "Hey Mike, will there be a sequel to the Groundhog Day movie?" Bob, there already is a sequel. There have been many. Some say that every Bill Murray movie after Groundhog Day was actually a sequel to Groundhog Day. Others say that every copy of the Groundhog Day VHS has a slightly different ending. Our final question today comes from Beth in Bar Harbor, Maine. Beth writes, "Hey Mike, what should I do if I fall in love with a groundhog?" Well, Beth, there are a few things you should know. The groundhog mating season is only about 10 days long and occurs in early March. Also, groundhogs are the only animal besides monkeys and humans who carry hepatitis B. So there's that. And that's going to be it for today's show. Join us next week for my review of the new movie Theater Popcorn. Music for today's show was Fireflies and Stardust by Kevin MacLeod and Groundhog by the Watson family. Be sure to follow the show on Instagram. I put a bunch of cute groundhog photos up there. Instagram name, please excuse my dead Aunt Sally.
Hey, you're a fucking idiot. We're all doing that. Bye-bye.
Children of up your gun and whistle up your dog. Shoulder up your gun and whistle up your dog. Off to the woods for to catch a groundhog. Oh, groundhog. Run here, Sally, with a 10-foot pole. Run here, Sally, with a 10-foot pole to twist his whistle pig out of his hole. Oh, groundhog. Here comes Sal with a snigger and a grin. Here comes Sal with a snigger and a grin. The groundhog gravy all over her chin. Oh, groundhog.